The day of my husband Daniel's funeral was overcast, the kind of grey that clings to your skin and makes everything feel heavier. I had spent the past week in a haze of grief, handling arrangements, fielding phone calls, and trying to explain to our 2 children why their father wasn't coming home. Daniel had died suddenly. A heart attack in the middle of a business trip. No warning, no goodbye. I thought the worst part of losing him was over. I was wrong. As the guests arrived at the church, I stood near the front with my sister, receiving condolences and hollow words of comfort. But then, a woman I didn't recognize walked in with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, all around the same ages as mine. She looked devastated. But what shook me was the way she clutched a framed photo of Daniel, the same one I had on my nightstand at home. Our eyes met, and something passed between us. Confusion, shock, and a sudden terrible understanding. After the service, I approached her. She introduced herself as Claire and told me, in a voice trembling with grief and anger, that she was Daniel's wife, not ex-wife, not girlfriend, wife. He had been married to her for 12 years, just 2 years less than he had been married to me. My knees buckled. My world, already cracked by grief, shattered into something unrecognizable. Daniel had built 2 lives, 2 families, 2 versions of himself, and somehow he had kept it all hidden. Over the next few days, Claire and I compared stories, timelines, photographs, even holiday cards. It was surreal. Our lives mirrored each other in the strangest ways. He had traveled often for work, and it was during those trips that he toggled between families. The deception was meticulous, almost surgical in its precision. I kept thinking back to every late return, every missed anniversary, every phone call he had taken in the other room. All of it reinterpreted itself in a sinister light. But the final blow came when his lawyer called us both in to read the will. I went in expecting the usual, the house, savings, and accounts to be divided fairly between our children. What I heard instead made my blood run cold. Daniel had left everything, the house, the investments, the retirement fund, to Claire's children. Not a mention of mine, not even a letter. I sat frozen in the office chair, the words echoing in my head like a punch I hadn't seen coming. Claire was just as stunned. She hadn't known about us either. She offered to split everything, even suggested legal mediation. But the betrayal cut too deep. I didn't want her sympathy. I wanted answers from a man who was no longer alive to give them. I wanted to scream at him, to ask how he could raise our children, tuck them into bed, and then do the same elsewhere, while planning to leave them with nothing. In the weeks that followed, I hired a lawyer, not just for the estate, but for the closure I needed. We found financial documents hidden in offshore accounts, secret emails, and photos he had stored in cloud folders I never had access to. The image I had of Daniel, loyal, loving, honest, disintegrated into ash. I realized I had loved a ghost, a man who never truly existed. The pain was layered, complex, and unforgiving. But through it all, I found something else, strength, the kind that only comes when you're forced to rebuild from nothing. I started over, for myself and for my children. I told them the truth when they were old enough to understand. And I taught them something Daniel never could, that love, real love, comes with honesty, and that no lie, no matter how carefully crafted, stays buried forever.